Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. So this has definitely been sped up quite a bit. As you can see, I I am very slow when it comes to pencil coloring, so and I wanted to make this a relatively short video. Basically, we are just wrapping up the WIP from our gelatos demo a couple weeks ago, I think. I can't quite remember. That is a very loud motorcycle. I end up using Arteza colored pencils for this, the 120 set. I have all the colors listed below, what I used where. And so I come in with the pencil, and then in the end I also use Arteza glitter gel pens to finish it out with a little bit of white gel pen. So here you can see I am actually going over the different layers of the space background. I just wanted to make them a little more vibrant, and so I brought these in. Actually just realized I listed the wrong purple. I need to go in and change that, but that's okay. This picture was a lot of fun to do. I have not done many double page spreads in my coloring adventures. However, this, like I said, was a lot of fun. The layer of gelato saved me a ton of time, and it also helps a lot because I have patience issues. First off, I am not very slow and methodical when it comes to using colored pencils. And sometimes I'll get in the mood where, I might want to spend a couple hours a day on a colored pencil project. I did that with a picture I did for Annie a few years ago. It was a Kanoko Agusa picture where I spent, the better part of a month, a couple hours a day, just using pencils on the picture, and I was pleased with how it turned out. But I find that if I just use pencils on a picture, usually there reaches a point, and it's nowhere near close to the end, where I just get kind of tired of it and a little bit bored with it. So I like using a layer of marker or a layer of watercolor or gelato or something to make it go a little faster, because then I can just use two pencils to blend as opposed to the three that I typically would. And it just makes it go a lot faster for me, and less likely to get bored. I spent quite a bit of time on this, and yes, towards the end I was really kind of starting to get over the picture. But to be fair, again, this was a double page spread, so this, obviously took a lot longer than just a single page would have. So I really like the colors. I think I love the overall picture. Some of my favorite I think my favorite part of it, though, is the ship and the spacesuits. I didn't realize I had other colors in the iridescence gelato set. There were two. It was like a bright orange and then that kind of yellow color there. And what's funny is those were the colors I was drawn to when I mixed these together. I didn't realize I had those, and so when I reached the point of the ship and the suits, I wasn't really sure what other colors I wanted to use. I wanted to add some, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to add. And so the yellow is a mix, or the orange is a mix of the, I think it's kind of like I'm drawing a blank here. They're a mix of the gelatos I had. So like the red gave me that kind of rusty orange color. I'm trying to think of what I mixed it with. Good gravy. I am blanking out. I guess I could go look at the gelatos I used in my previous video and tell y'all, because I've blanked out apparently on how to mix colors. I'd mix the blues and greens together to get the color on the hair. And then yeah, I think for the ship, I just used the Odyssey is the yellow. So that's just the original yellow, but the rusty orange color is a mix of that Odyssey and the Mars red color. There we go. And I don't know why, but those two colors together just came together so well. The pencils I picked really, like you can see that ship, really just set it off. And oddly enough, I was more pleased with that than any other part of the picture. But it all works together so well. Like this was a great color palette. I absolutely loved this color palette. I'm glad I went ahead and recorded like what pencils and gelatos I used because I will be using this again for sure. These pencils actually, I mean, these colors actually just went together really, really well. I do apologize if this is going faster than a lot of you would prefer, but like I said, I wanted this to be kind of a quick picture. I mean, quick video, and this was hours and hours of footage, probably at least 3 hours worth of pencil and gel pen work. I was a little concerned, those little spiky looking flowers, what plants, whatever they are. My plan was to go over them with gel pen. However, I have run into some issues on other pages where if I use like an iridescent gelato, the gel pen doesn't really want to go over that real well. That was not the case with the Arteza glitter gel pens. They went over it perfectly fine, had zero issues, so I was super pleased about that. Now we move to the other side. Again, I am more about like speed and efficiency when it comes. This is why I guess you don't see me using pencil very often, because again, it takes time. However, with this picture, it just really needed it. And I don't know what is up with my voice right now. And that was the plan from the get-go, was that I was going to actually do pencil in here. And the Artezas did great. I tried those with that little daffodil on, I think, like the copyright page, and they seemed like they did really well. So I thought, well, hey, let's go ahead and just use them for the whole page. And I know some people aren't real fans of the Artezas, but I like them a lot. And not that it really mattered in this book, but the set that I have aren't water soluble, so I have an older set. So I've had nothing but good experiences with them. What's interesting is I had another palette in mind, which will be using the Arteza pencils again. I had done a picture a few years ago with some oranges and purples, and I know oranges and purples. I can't remember if it was blues or greens. I think it was greens that I liked a lot, and it was very vibrant. And so I do want to use that palette again and replicate it. And that was originally what I was going to do, is pick one of the Hanna Karlzon pages, possibly the set before this of the two portraits, and use that palette, and maybe just use, two colors on one side and two colors on the other, or something like that. But then I saw this page, and I told you guys I love space pictures. Jungle pictures and space pictures and cat pictures, to a point, are some of my favorite things to color. Cats can be tricky because I don't color animals a lot, and I haven't gotten to the point where I have found a technique for adding a fur texture that I really like. Yeah, that Odyssey yellow, when you put it's blood orange and then just orange were the pencils I used on top. Oh my gosh, it just glows. I don't know what it is, but like that again is one of my favorite parts of this picture. was especially that color combo. I like that a lot. Like I said, it almost makes it glow, and was just super cool. So I hope everyone's having a good start to the week. I do apologize. I do have a demo planned. Well, I don't know what I'm going to use yet, but I am going to do a demo, at least one using the Neocolor 2s. But I really wanted to finish this picture this month and show you guys the entire process on a page. This is probably the most time I've spent on a page in easily a year. I would say probably a year. But it was fun. Like I said, towards the end, I was getting a little ready to be done with it. But that was it. I wrapped it up in just about the perfect amount of time. So this whole experience with using gelatos as a base and then coming in and shading some with pencils and gel pens was a really good experience for me. If you are like me and you don't have a lot of patience to spend, more than a handful of hours on a picture, then I would say this route, in terms of the types of layers and using this type of stuff on a picture, I would recommend trying it this way, using some sort of watercolor, gelato, gel stick, what have you, to create the base colors, and then you only have to come in with a couple pencils to create the shading that you want. And don't be afraid to use gel pens either. There were some, sometimes I look at a picture and I'm like, oh, I have to use colored pencils on every part of this picture. And this was a good one because there were certain points where I just stopped and I said, you know what? The gel pens will work just fine for this, for these little details. It doesn't all have to be perfectly shaded and all be done in pencil. So that seems to be the way to go for me. Now, does that mean I will never do a fully colored pencil picture? No. It's just those are going to be few and far between. I've been itching more to use my pencils lately, so though I have been using my markers a lot more and stuff. I didn't use my paint much this month. Watercolor paint, yes, but like my shimmer paints and acrylic paints and stuff like that, I just didn't really use a lot of those this month. Some months I get tired of using a lot of markers, and so I want to do different things with paint and more mixed media. And this month I was more of just using the markers and gel pens, and then a little bit of pencil as well. So I guess I kind of went more old school this month. But here I am adding in the grays. Like I said, didn't really have too much trouble finding complementary colors in the Arteza set for this. So if you like the Iridescence Gelato set, and I'm going to put it again in the description just in case you missed it from the last one. If you like that color palette, I would say the Artezas are a good complement to that palette if you're looking for good options for shading. So as you can see, I had a lot of luck with that. So I will probably be doing at least one more Hanna Karlzon picture in well, I would say I have two more in mind that I want to do in the next month or two. One being probably the portraits on the page before this, using the existing color palette I had in mind. And then I would like to use the vintage pastel watercolors that Tammy sent me to tackle a page in Summer Nights. I think I'm going to do the page with the watch because I'm already envisioning in my head how the colors would lay and how that would play out. So those are the two I kind of know for sure that I'm going to do here in the next few months. And so, yeah, I see this is what happens. I get overwhelmed or intimidated to color in a certain set of books, and sometimes you just have to break the seal, so to speak. And that's kind of what I did here, where, like, okay, I'm officially coloring in one of them. And now that I've done that and I didn't completely bonk it up, I have all other kinds of ideas where I want to color in the books. So I think I used 3 different blues for the little spikes. I can't remember which ones they are, stalactites or stalagmites, whatever the weird blue spikes is just what I'm going to call them. So, but yeah, like I could have come in and shaded the crystals and the flowers, and I was just like, nah, yeah, I'm good. We'll just, add a little bit of sparkly gel pen and it'll be fine. So, so Friday I will have my completed pages for May. Should be a pretty hefty amount. I usually can get, I don't know, about 3 or 4 good hours worth of coloring out of me on a good day, and then after that I'm just kind of over it. So even though I've colored a lot this month, I am pretty bummed. There are quite a few books and pages that I had kind of planned that just are not going to be gotten to, and a lot of them I can make work next month for the year-long coloring tag, but and I don't necessarily have to color a page in my tag. I like to, because it really makes me look at, all my books and pick a lot of books I haven't colored in before, like this being one of them, and coloring things I don't typically color. So it's just been a really nice challenge. I would say this picture, by the time it's all said and done, is probably in my top 10 best pictures I've done in the past, like, 4 years. I think it's been 4 years. It'll be 4 years next month, I believe. No, it was 4 years, like, back in April, because I colored for a few months before I officially started a channel. So yeah, I've been at it for, maybe it's 5 years. Okay, yeah, it's either 4 or 5 years. I can't remember. It's definitely been one of my longest hobbies ever, that's for sure. So I was checking the page behind it to make sure they weren't bleeding through. That purple might have shadowed just a little bit, but when I color the page behind it, I won't see it. The gel pens did just fine in this paper. And that red went over the gelato just fine. Even with the iridescent shine to it, it did just fine. It had 0 issues. So it must have, you just have to use a really juicy gel pen. So here I am adding in just some different little bits and bobs I didn't quite get before. I'll come in with the white gel pen after I add in all these and clean it up a little bit and add some stars, and we will be done. Yeah, here I am missing a few down here, so. And I know I ran a real risk here. I should have done the stars and stuff to start with and then worked my way down. I ran a real risk of sticking my hand in the gel pen and smearing it on the page. My brain just cannot remember to do that for some reason. It's really bizarre. So, and then I'll come through here and clean up just a few little spots with the white gel pen. And thinking about it, thinking about it, and we are done. So, like I said, these colors did great. I was super happy with how this came out. All the stuff I tried, the gelatos, the pencils over the top. Again, to not get that, I like the background okay, but if you want less of a smudgy kind of background with multiple gelatos, I would definitely use scribble the gelatos on a little textured thing before painting them on like watercolors. I did that in the bottom half of the picture, and overall I think I will like that look better than just scrubbing them on the page and activating it like I did at the top. There's situations where one would look better and situations where the other would look just fine. So this kind of shows you two different ways to use the gelatos. And then, of course, the pencil went over them just fine, like a dream. I had no issues with that. And the gel pens went over them. Even though they had like the iridescent shimmer to them, I had zero issues with the gel pens going over them or the pencils. So, like I said, definitely in my top 10, probably my top 5. I'm super proud of this picture and the fact that it's a double page spread and my first Hanna Karlzon page, and yeah, I just think it turned out great. I'm glad I was able to share the experience with you guys, and as always, hopefully this helps hopefully this helps inspire people, and it show that sometimes you try stuff, and in this case everything actually worked really well. Y'all have seen pictures where things didn't turn out so well for me, so it's kind of a mixed bag around here. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. I will be back on Friday with completed pages, probably a color and chat next weekend. Hopefully adding pencil to my cat coloring therapy page that I did watercolor in. Well, that's going to be a WIP going into June. Thanks guys for watching, and bye for now.